Before the video starts, I just want to say the Rockets are securing permission to interview Phoenix Suns associate head coach Kevin Young for their head coaching job. Young spent 8 years coaching in the G League and has gained momentum as an NBA head coaching candidate in recent years on the staffs of the Philadelphia 76ers and Phoenix Suns. Let's hop into the video. So we got some breaking news. The Golden State Warriors have allowed our man, Kenny Atkinson, to interview with the Houston Rockets. And then Shams Charania, of course, comes out and tweets this. So the Rockets are scheduling head coaching interviews, first with Kenny Atkinson, next with Toronto's assistant coach, Adrian Griffin, Sr., who's the father of the Hawks rookie, AJ Griffin, Ime Udoka, the former Boston Celtics coach, former Laker coach, Frank Vogel, and former Hornets coach, James Borrego. As you guys know, Ime Udoka, James Borrego are two guys who come from the Greg Popovich tree. Raptors Nick Nurse, though, is expected to be the Houston Rockets' #1 target should he become available. And the rumor is if Nick Nurse becomes available, it's because the Raptors are hiring Ime Udoka as their coach. Now, over here, we're hearing about Kenny Atkinson. Let's go back to Kenny Atkinson. Shout out Adrian Wojnarowski. Houston received permission to interview Golden State associate head coach Kenny Atkinson for the franchise coaching job. Kenny Atkinson, after the whole rebuild when Billy King traded all those picks for KG and Paul Pierce, and then that team blew up. Kenny Atkinson was the coach with Sean Marks that helped rebuild the Nets with no picks into a playoff team. And last summer, he accepted the Charlotte Hornets job before changing his mind and staying in Golden State a year ago. The rumor was that he stayed because he was given the top spot on the bench, which was Mike Brown's job, and he was given a pay raise. Atkinson has a strong history of creating a winning environment and culture that young players grow into winning professionals, including both as a Brooklyn head coach and as an assistant in several stops. Now, I agree that if Nick Nurse were to become available, I think Nick Nurse is the guy they should go out and get themselves. Nick Nurse, great head coach. He's a proven winner, and I think he would really help this team. Personally, I think there's way more pieces for Nick Nurse to work, and I've talked about how Masai Ujiri has not set up Nick Nurse since the championship season with enough depth, basically giving him half the roster being bigs. And with that being said, I personally believe that this goes to show that if Nick Nurse does come available, I think he's the #1 option, like he should be. He's a top head coach in the league. But Kenny Atkinson, if they don't, I love it because he'll teach these boys defense, which they've talked about. His defense is the #1 thing they're trying to get out of these guys, is teach them how to play defense, because god dang, are they bad at playing defense. And that's for me where I look at this, and I really do hope it's either Kenny Atkinson, Nick Nurse. I mean, obviously, Ime Udoka, James Borrego, all the coaches you're looking at are defensive coaches. So for me, I think this search is already starting to look good. And they moved on from Stephen Silas. And you guys have seen in this video a little bit of Stephen Silas, B-roll. And that's just because we got to talk about what they went through with Silas for, 3 years? And I know people are going to be like, he wasn't supposed to be the coach of a rebuilding team. He was supposed to be the coach of a team that was trying to win a championship, with James Harden. But that's not the case. So for me, I think you got to understand, regardless of whatever hand Stephen Silas was dealt, he just didn't teach defense. And for me, I think that's the big thing, because they need to be taught defense. Because Alperen Şengün has the potential to be a similar, if not maybe even better than Domantas Sabonis, and maybe even be an MVP like Jokic. He's like in the similar vein. I know his style is different, but like the European style that we're seeing that's taken over the league, he has a chance to do that. And then you got Jalen Green, who I know he was the worst scoring guard at 2-point shots, like inside the arc, but he has so much potential, and he's definitely going to be an all-star. I think Kenny Atkinson or Nick Nurse is the best guy. But I really like, if Nick Nurse does not come available, which I would not be surprised if he stays, if he remains, I think Kenny Atkinson is the best coach there for, proven. I don't think they should go for another first-time coach, which looks like they're not doing that. I think they only had 1 or 2 guys on there that were first-time coaches. So for me, I think that's the right move. Let's not get a first-time coach. There is no need, all right? Like, this team just does not need a first-time coach. That's where I want to hear your guys' thoughts. What do you guys think? And if you guys are on the same page as me, what would you want to see? And yeah, that's basically going to be me. We're on the way to 20,000. I made this video in my car, so let me hear your thoughts. Peace out.